Well, good morning, folks. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Matt Franklin. I'm the President and CEO of Mid-Penn Housing, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you to Shirley Chisholm Village, home to 135 San Francisco educators and staff and their families. We are so glad that you could join us here this morning. We look forward to celebrating and honoring everything that all of you have done to help us get to this moment. It's been a just remarkable and incredible journey for us at Mid-Penn, and I want to share just a few brief thoughts about that journey before I ask some of our incredible partners to share thoughts as well. The first really big impression for me was our first meeting with our three bosses. So we had the superintendent, we had the head of the United Educators of San Francisco, the union, and we had the mayor's office of Housing and Community Development. And I will admit that as I went into that meeting, I'd never had that lineup before, and I had a little trepidation around it all. I was just a few years removed from having the great pleasure of leading the mayor's office of housing for the first 5 years with Mayor Newsom. And I had frankly spent a considerable amount of time in that seat over at the school district, offering the services of the real estate experts at the mayor's office of housing to help analyze and come up with strategies around how to put the portfolio to work for the community and for the district. And I didn't get very far. I kept offering, I kept saying, we have free services. It's not going to just be affordable housing. And when I look back on that, I think, I think if I'm being honest, the relationship between the mayor's office and the district just wasn't where it needed to be in terms of trust and in terms of the ability to work together. And that's very, very common. In the years in between that job and sitting in this meeting to begin this journey, I'd seen that kind of dynamic all over the Bay Area. You know, something about the hard work of educating folks and running a city just made it really hard to bring the bodies together. But I will tell you that from the very first meeting, there was cohesion and alignment among these three partners that has just been a huge part of this journey and has been incredible to see. Something had changed, something had brought everyone together. At the time we talked about, the language used was it was very ambitious and inspiring, but very general. We want to create model housing for teachers. We want to create a great living environment that a lot of people want to come and live in. But we quickly got busy working together in an incredible depth of partnership to figure out what that meant and how we could seize that opportunity. So it started, of course, with the district putting forward this incredible site. Just such a great location in a great neighborhood, a block and a half from the park, 6 blocks from the ocean, incredible public transit here, great neighborhood serving retail. So that was really the beginning and the impetus. But then it was Cassandra Curiel and the United Educators and digging in deeply. They stepped forward and we held this big series of focus groups and did surveys. And together, all three of our partners and our team sat and pored over demographic data. What do we know about teacher households? What do we know about their current living situation? What do we know about their families? What do we know about their incomes? And together, we used all of that to inform what we built here. And what we built is very unique in the context of the 10,000 homes that Mid-Penn owns in 12 counties in Northern California. Just a few of those features is first, we identified together a really great healthy spread of building types, studios, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units to meet a broad set of needs and household compositions. We saw that there really was a spread of incomes. It's not just the salaries, but the household, all the household earners that you need to look at. And so we have the best income mix of any development that Mid-Penn's ever done in our 55 years, all the way from 30% of area median income for an individual, maybe $40,000 a year, to 120% of area median income, classified as moderate income for families of 4 over 150,000. And we know from our experience that those are the healthiest communities where you can really get that good mix. That, by the way, created a lot of complications around how to structure the financing. We had to do separate legal parcels. And it was here where the Mayor's Office of Housing and Community Development staff, just really the best in class in the Bay Area, I would argue in the country, were right there with us to figure all that out. And to, in a disciplined way, engage those important priorities, which cost some money as well. There were very specific amenities that came out of this that we heard about. If you have a chance, if you do one thing after this program, take the elevator to the right here, go up to the 5th floor, and check out the work lounge that we have in the corner of the building. It is the best real estate in the whole building by design. This is something we heard is that the educators would like somewhere to go to do some work outside of their apartment. So it is a beautiful work lounge, views of the ocean, views of the park. They specified they wanted a space to work out, to burn off their stress afterwards. They specified that they wanted to engage their kids in our learning center. It's not the case that educators necessarily want to do all of the after-school work with their own kids. They like to have a professional help out, just like any other household would. So all of that informed the design that we did, and then we knew it had to be top quality if we were going to generate the demand that we were after. So we have the best in the business, BAA Architects, Cahill Construction, just did a phenomenal job. I hope you get a chance to see the unit on the 4th floor. And at the end of the day, we felt confident that we saw demand. And so we wanted to lean into the density here. And that too is something that I will say, as much as I'm proud of the 5 years I ran the Mayor's Office of Housing, we got a lot done, but we did not get a lot done out here in the Sunset. And we knew that this site deserved leaning into density. We knew that we were confident that we could prove that there was teacher demand for this kind of housing. So we're over 90 units an acre here. And we leaned into that. I'm looking for my friend Molly Pope. Has she made it? So I have a really good friend who is the principal at Claire Lilienthal, and she's a very dear friend of mine. I'm godfather to her son. And she previously was a principal at McKinley, and she started with teaching a bilingual classroom out at Hillcrest in the Bayview. And she's a supporter of good things like this, but she's one of these people that keeps you on your toes. So I was stressing the demand. Are we going to generate the demand? Are the teachers going to come as we go through this project? So somewhere in this, we're in the middle of trying to figure all this out. And I'm out to dinner with Molly and her husband Eve, who's here. And she's like, do teachers want to live together? Like, do you want to work together and then come home and be together? And I'm like, it's a big district, probably a lot of different schools. Yeah, no, I'm hearing everyone's talking about how who's going to want to live together in teacher housing? And then later we're down in the marketing phase and, I saw your flyer. You're doing some outreach to try to get people to come apply. Yeah, we're doing the outreach. Is anybody going to come to that, do you think? I'm like, well, I think they're going to come. We got a good plan. Yeah, no, I'm hearing that everybody's upset about, I'm not sure what it was, the budget for the books or payroll problems or whatever. They're not going to come. So a lot of sleepless nights, my friend keeping me on my toes. But it was the demand that we, really felt was going to be the barometer of whether this all worked. Just briefly, the last thought I want to share is, speaking of the density brings me to, I want to talk about this neighborhood a little bit. So this site had an incredible community asset called Playland. And there was a group called Friends of Playland that had created it on their own. A lot of the site was a surface parking lot. They were putting it to use for the neighborhood. It was just incredible. We had our very first community engagement meeting on Playland on a Saturday 7 years ago. I remember I was here with one of my boys. Big crowd, incredible group of volunteers in the neighborhood. As a developer, you see that. It could be a community garden, it could be a Playland. You think, wow, this is an incredible force. and boy, you hope it's with you. So we're in that open house, and again, some of the conversation is like, we really want teacher housing here, but. So we're all in those conversations a lot, and I'm waiting for the but. But the but was, we want to be involved. We want to be part of this. And so we embrace that. We welcome them, and they engage with us deeply, and there's really unique features that came of that. The play area out front here is open to the entire neighborhood. The beautiful 1,700 square foot space attached to it is intended for a neighborhood serving nonprofit. There is a time capsule in a beautiful sculpture right next to the playground that is put together by the Friends of Playland with various things that are representative of that era of the original Playland that was just really, really special space. So they engaged with us in a really positive way that made this development better. And you know, for the most part, they embraced the density as well. I think this is, Mayor, a forerunner that can demonstrate that the family zoning is possible, and it's possible out here if done right and well. So at the end of the day, we had 1,300 SFUSD employees apply to our lottery. That's nearly 15% of the entire workforce. So I feel like we have done it against that real world market test of, are we building something that people are excited to live in? With that, I'd like to invite some of our incredible partners up to share their thoughts, and starting with Mayor Lurie.
Matt, where'd Matt go? This is one of your ideas from like 20 years ago, maybe more. Thank you for seeing it through. In 1968, Shirley Chisholm became the first Black woman elected to Congress after working for more than a decade as a school teacher and educator. Throughout her career, Congresswoman Chisholm broke barriers in public service. She fought for equal opportunities for working families and teachers. Just as Shirley Chisholm opened doors for others, Shirley Chisholm Village opens its doors to those who are educating the next generation of San Franciscans. For nearly 30 years, this site sat vacant, a school district property left mostly unused. We all know this story is not uncommon in San Francisco. Our city is facing a housing shortage that makes it unaffordable for teachers, nurses, and our first responders, the very people who serve our city. But with this grand opening, we are taking another step to solve that crisis. Shirley Chisholm Village and projects like it are the solution. We must transform unused spaces into affordable housing. The design of Shirley Chisholm Village reflects a community-focused mission, as Matt talked about, with an ocean-facing co-working space. I have to go up to the 5th floor and check that out. A community room, a courtyard, a fitness center, and even a parking lot. It will now become part of the neighborhood with its public plaza, playground, and seating along 43rd Avenue. But the most important thing, all 135 units are reserved for low and middle income educators, making Shirley Chisholm Village the first housing project in San Francisco dedicated to public school workers. When teachers and their families live in San Francisco, it means more time at school, more time with students. Our SFUSD educators will be able to stay late, lead a club, and it means a shorter commute home so that they can be with their own families. This building stands as a symbol of a city that is welcoming working families instead of pricing them out. We need more places like Shirley Chisholm Village. That is why I am introducing our family zoning plan, so we can make San Francisco affordable now and for generations to come. This plan will help us create the kind of neighborhoods we all want: safe, walkable communities with small businesses on the corners and parks down the block. We want to build enough housing so that our kids at SFUSD, they grow up thinking, I can raise my own kids here in San Francisco. Everyone, and I heard this for the last 7, 8, 9 years, everyone told us that we couldn't build on the west side. Well, here we are, working with local communities and listening to their input. We made Shirley Chisholm Village happen. With vision, partnership, and hard work, a project like this becomes possible. I want to thank all of you here today, because I know it was all of you that made this vision, this hard work possible, this project coming to life. So thank you all for that. I'm excited for each one of our teachers and SFUSD staff who are fully moved in. Let's get more of this done. Let's go San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Deeply appreciate your leadership. We are here for you on the family zoning. We were the first affordable housing endorser of the plan when it came out on the second day of the tenure of your awesome new planning director. It's just stunning to me when colleagues in our movement get in the way of solving this crisis, and I think this is the path, and we definitely can do it. So thank you. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce Superintendent Dr. Maria Su.
Okay, so the shorty comes and I have to move this down, sorry. Thank you, Matt, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too greatly support and appreciate everything that you have done, particularly with your new resolution legislation around family housing. Because in San Francisco, we need to make sure that our families have what it takes to live here and to be here, and this is a start. What an incredible day today that we have this inspiring moment in the city where we say San Francisco cares about our educators. San Francisco cares about public school. And I'm so honored to be here with a majority member of our Board of Education here. Thank you so much for being here. Shirley Chisholm Village represents more than just a beautiful building. It represents a promise kept. You've already heard. This was an idea, a dream that started 20 years ago. I remember when I was on the city side talking about this 15 years ago. Today is a reality. And it's a promise that we are keeping to our educators, to our public school students and families. Meaningful, long overdue promises that we are fulfilling each and every day. For the first time in our city's history, we are delivering dedicated, affordable housing for educators, where every individual who shapes our students' future can call San Francisco home. This is a bold and necessary first step to revitalizing San Francisco Unified School District, because we know that if we want strong schools, we must support the people who are working in our schools. We must support the people who are literally supporting our future. And we need to do this, and we're doing it here. And that means that we continue to provide supports to our educators so that they can afford to live in the city. a city where they are serving with literally their heart and soul. Today, we say that clearly. San Francisco is a place for our teachers. It's a place where our educators are not pushed out, they are lifted up, where housing is not a barrier to stay in the classroom, but a bridge to support and lift up our communities together. By creating homes for our educators here at Shirley Chisholm Village, we are doing more than just opening doors for housing. We are strengthening our schools. We are supporting our families. We are building a more connected and resilient city where we are saying loud and proud, we care about not only our students, not only our families, but all of our dedicated SFUSD employees who come to school, come to work each and every day in support for the bigger vision of a very strong and resilient city. On behalf of the school district, I thank the mayor, I thank Matt, and I thank all of our partners over at OEWD as well, to making sure that we keep our promise to our families, to our schools, to our staff. Thank you so much.
Wow, all right, I hope we were filming that. I want to just acknowledge for the superintendent and for our next speaker, the board president, Phil Kim, it is not easy for a board of education to decide to put land into a complicated real estate deal. I see it all over the Bay Area where there's an idea that is compelling, but I always think of it as like asking the planning commission to develop the curriculum for the classroom, right? It's not why you sign up to be on the board of education. And that was just such a great impassioned plea for why it's important. Again, I just want to say that this city is in such a remarkable position because now you have the partner, MoCD, that you know you can trust, who knows how to navigate all the insane, arcane requirements of how to get something like this done. But it is remarkable that the board, present and past, has been able to find their way to that decision. It's really admirable. Board President Phil Kim.
Hello, everyone. Oh, wow. We are height challenged over here. Hello, everyone, and thank you. And my name is Phil Kim. I have the great privilege of serving as the president of the San Francisco Unified School District Board of Education. I want to just start with a personal note because housing is personal. Growing up as a child of immigrant parents, we struggled with housing insecurity. We experienced what it was like to receive a foreclosure notice. When I first started in the classroom, my rent here in the Bay was $700. It was very sad to have let that place go, but $700. Housing matters. It is personal. It impacts the way we show up in our classrooms. It impacts the way our kids show up in the classroom. And this is why this building, this project, family zoning, is so critical for us. We cannot talk about third grade reading, eighth grade math, college and career readiness without talking about housing and stabilization for our communities, especially those communities that we know show up each and every day for our students, like our educators here in San Francisco Unified. So this is deeply personal. It's a reflective moment for us, and it shines a ray of hope in what we can do moving forward. I want to thank Vice President Huling, Commissioner Ray, I think Commissioner Alexander may be here, Commissioner Fisher, for being here today. We are a team dedicated to housing. I cannot say this enough. And so it is a privilege and honor to be here with you today. Today marks a truly proud and transformative moment for us, and not just for our city, but for the heart of our community, our public schools. And we are here to celebrate this grand opening of the city's first ever housing project dedicated specifically for our school district employees. And in many ways, this is not just about the brick and mortar of this beautiful building. It is a beautiful building, but it represents a deep and lasting commitment to the stability of our educators and the long-term success of every student in our district. When teachers and counselors and school staff can afford to live where they teach and serve, it can serve as a ripple effect that benefits all of us. Stronger schools, more supported families, connected neighborhoods, these are the outcomes we envision and work tirelessly to achieve. And our educators are the foundation of that success by ensuring they have a place to call home in the same city where they work. We're not only valuing their incredible work, but we're also investing in a future where our schools and communities can thrive together. And on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to express our deepest gratitude to everyone who's made this project possible, from city leaders to community partners, and of course, our dedicated school district employees, including someone named Viva Mogi, who is not here today, I don't think, but for years had led this initiative at the district office, and I cannot thank her enough, a close friend of mine who has since moved on from the district. We are excited and hopeful that this initiative will inspire similar efforts across San Francisco, and truly, as others have said, set a powerful example for how we can support those who educate our children. And so, as an example of the partnership between a city, a school district, our labor partners, thank you for being here today to celebrate this milestone with us. Together, we are building more than housing. We are building a stronger future for ourselves, for our neighbors, and for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, President Kim. All right, well, I just want to say, as we go to try to replicate this model, whether it's here in San Francisco or in other cities, I'm so excited to take our learning of working with the union on this. Was really, really special, added tremendous value to the work, and made it such a better development than it would have been otherwise. So it's my pleasure to welcome Cassandra Coriel to represent that group.
Good morning. I'm Cassandra Coriel. I'm the president of United Educators of San Francisco. We're a union of 6,000 educators across all 133 work sites in SFUSD. And I'd be remiss if I didn't use this opportunity to teach today, as a teacher myself. But the moment is to take a reflection point that actually many of the educators that we represent, and we use the word educators regularly, because they're across every title. Many of our members who are currently moved in to this building here today are actually classified educators, are para-educators, who work one-on-one with our SFUSD students who often need the most hands-on support and help. The job of working with students, with children of any age, is, some would call it a calling. Others, a daily affirmation of the work to make sure that our future is not just bright, but full and enriching. Especially when working with children of other backgrounds, other people's families, many different language backgrounds. And in order to become an educator in SFUSD, the bar is quite high. We have a lot of beautiful diversity in this city. Diversity of families, diversity of language, diversity of backgrounds, and a diversity of school sites and programs. So Matt, I'm so glad that you brought up the issue of, do teachers want to live together? When the conversation first started, I was a very new teacher. This project started with, and continued on with, 3 of my predecessors. Former President Dennis Kelly passed last November. But he was here with us at the shoveling ceremony. Former President Lita Blanc and former President Susan Solomon, all 3 of whom worked closely to try and make this project and all of the other intricate hoops and rings come together, whether that was ballot initiatives, whether that was the surveys, making sure our educators had input, and the many other processes that took place throughout our intricate relationship in order to get this done. So I have the benefit of the ribbon cutting ceremony, the shovel ceremony, and also hearing from our members who went through this process. So the 1,300 members who reached out to apply to this, I actually think is a smaller number than the need that we have today. In inception, 15 years ago, the reality now is starkly different. Our educator workforce throughout California, but very specifically here in San Francisco, is a shallow field. There are not enough potential educators in our education system learning to be educators at this point to fuel the need for what's coming, for the vacancy rates that we try very hard to solve. So this project itself stands to measure as one of the possible ways that a school district, a city, and broadly our governments overall, in connection with the citizens, because that's what we are, right? Teachers are not just in the school, despite what our students might think. We don't live there. Right? We're the neighbors. We are actually business owners. Many of us own small businesses. We're often the people you say good morning to, walking your dogs. We're in line with you at the coffee shop. We're sitting next to you at the tables at dinner when we go out to restaurants and the farmer's market. We are your neighbors. We are many, many, many of the citizens of San Francisco. So to ensure that we have families available, family housing available for our members who want to grow their families in San Francisco is super important. One of the biggest highlights is the 2 and 3 bedroom units in this project. I cannot underscore that enough. Family housing is not how can we grow a family in individual units, right? We all know that the quality of our society here in San Francisco begs that we are able to go to the parks and take a walk, which we can, but also to be able to grow up here and have our families in their 2 and 3 bedroom apartments is a massive, massive win and needs to be replicated across the many available opportunities in San Francisco. So UESF members, the 1,300 who applied and the not 1,300 who live here, obviously, the need grows. We look forward to being a part of the solutions because that's what educators do, right? We are always looking to how we can be helpful, to how we can grow the opportunities for our students, but also we are the citizens of San Francisco. Our students, our kids, become the students of San Francisco Unified School District. And so this project needs to be replicated in many different ways and for many different versions of what our future has yet to hold. So we were happy to be a project partner in this, hoping that it doesn't take another 15 years to get done. And we will make every effort that's possible to make sure that that's a reality. Thank you very much, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you, Cassandra. All right, now it's my pleasure to introduce Supervisor Joel Engardio. Supervisor.
The dedication of this housing is good timing because San Francisco is debating a housing plan that would create more apartment buildings that look like this. There's a lot of fear around height and density. To see this building might help people see that it's not that scary, that apartment buildings don't ruin a neighborhood. On the contrary, they make it possible for new neighbors to contribute to our community in positive ways. The refusal to build enough affordable housing in San Francisco has forced more people to the suburbs. And this includes some very important people a city needs to function: our teachers, educators, first responders, essential workers. We're forcing them to live far away and commute back into the city. Even our adult kids and grandkids have to move away. But they can stay in San Francisco if we embrace some apartment buildings in every neighborhood, especially near public transit. All cities in California need to do this because suburban sprawl has been terrible for the environment. If we want to be good stewards of the environment, we have to accept some taller apartment buildings next to public transportation. And that's not asking a lot. No one is banning single-family homes. San Francisco will only realize its full potential if we let ourselves do bold things. We cannot be the most progressive city that fears change. We must be the most progressive city that embraces the future. If we never changed anything in San Francisco, the Sunset, where we are right now, would still be sand dunes. And we would not have residents like Dorothy Lathan. Dorothy was one of the first Black people allowed to buy a home in the Sunset, a few years after baseball star Willie Mays was denied on the West Side. At 93, Dorothy has contributed immensely to our city over the decades. She was a public school teacher, a principal, and then a community leader in retirement. Dorothy's presence is the benefit of change. This teacher housing, this educator housing will be home to many generations of people like Dorothy who will create our best San Francisco. Let's build more of it. Thank you.
All right, I'm telling you, Mayor, we're getting momentum on this family zoning. The small minds in the cafes in North Beach are getting nervous. All right, so it's my great pleasure to introduce Jaime Chavez, First Citizens Bank, our lender and investor in this development and a really tremendous partner of Mid-Penn.
Thanks, Matt. No pressure to follow up all these great speakers before me. Well, good morning. My name's Jaime Chavez. I'm honored to be here. I represent First Citizens Bank, and what a great pleasure to be here for the grand opening of Shirley Chisholm Visage. Today, I'm joined by several of my First Citizens colleagues, Fiona Sue, who leads our community development finance for the entire country. If it wasn't for her team, this project wouldn't be something we could have took on. So I want to thank Fiona for being here. Also, our Community Affairs Development Officer, Trina Villanueva, thank you for being here. Also from our general bank, I'd like to thank Wyman Wong, our Bay Area Manager of Branch Sales, and our office manager, Rashina Pillay, who is also here from our manager from our San Francisco office. I know we also have some other colleagues here, like Neil Drum, who worked on this project, so thank you guys for everything you put into it. They're all here with me today in order to celebrate the grand opening of this village and to show our deep appreciation for Mid-Penn housing, the city of San Francisco Unified School District, and our amazing San Francisco educators in the community. The partnership for this amazing village of Shirley Chisholm. First Citizens Bank construction, whoops, there we go. Bound to happen. First Citizens Bank provided construction financing of $45 million. With an additional $25 million that's going to be the permanent financing. And then with our partner of $25 million through our syndicator, National Equity Fund, who's also here today. So that was a total investment of $95 million. Now, I heard earlier, promises kept. That goes for us too. So this financing originally started with Silicon Valley Bank back in 2022. So as the first housing project for educators in San Francisco. At the time, it came as no surprise, San Francisco and Mid-Penn would lead the way in finding innovative financing structure for this community. We often hear people say that teachers and schools are our most valued community assets, but Mid-Penn in San Francisco put words to action, dreams into plans, and now keys into the hands of teachers, support staff, and their families that are developing our community of greatest asset. That's our students. Now, Silicon Valley Bank, a division of First Citizens, continues to provide financing for the greatest entrepreneurs and innovators locally and abroad. They're working on exciting technologies to better humanity and the planet. We know that innovation doesn't happen overnight, and it usually comes with setbacks from time to time, but real things and lasting positive change is possible, and we can see that here today. First Citizens Bank may be a new name to many of you. We're making efforts and growing a presence in San Francisco and the Bay Area, providing banking services and for innovators in technology and healthcare, innovators in the community, and everything in between. We're a bank with over 125-year history that is rooted in the very basic and timeless values of family and community while serving our clients well. We hope that you'll get to know us and see our commitments to San Francisco as we deepen with more impactful investments into our shared future. Now, as a Bay Area native from a large family of six brothers, also with over 100 first cousins, we touch all sectors of the workforce, several of those being educators. And I really have some fond memories of some of my cousins couch surfing on my couch. Why? Because they had parent-teacher conferences, and their commute home was 2.5 hours. So when I told them about this project, they all wanted to be here to, share in the success and also celebrate. But as you know, school is in session. So they're teaching right now. I even offered them now my guest room because I'm no longer in a one-bedroom apartment. But still, they passed. So a heartfelt thank you to allow me and First Citizens to be part of such a momentous event dedicated to our educator community and the invaluable role you all play with our future, which is our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaime. Thank you also to Fiona Hsu, Todd, Fabian. I saw you here. Thank you, Todd. The commitment was in place before the merger or the acquisition of First Citizens, and this team thankfully was brought in its entirety to be part of the First Citizens family, and they've been some of our best partners in community lending for decades, and really stuck with us through this in a way that was very comforting. All right, well, a teacher who was able to get someone to cover his classroom is Eric McAvoy, who's a resident here at Shirley Chisholm and is quickly run over from Giannini Middle School to share some thoughts.
Well, good morning. Party on. My name is Eric, as Matt said. My tie clip? And I'm a resident here, like he said, and a teacher at Giannini Middle School. I did have a teacher cover me, so I'm kind of in teacher mode. So if I see your cell phone out and I want to grab it, it's because that's what I will be doing in about 30 minutes. But yeah, I was able to move here in January, and I'm super grateful for our new unit. I do live in one of those 2 bedrooms with my 2 kids and my wife. There's something about beautiful and comfortable spaces that can bring a great source of happiness. It can be a great source of happiness. And a space like this has brought just that to me and my family. And having the security and affordability to make it last for us just makes it all the better. Thanks. You guys did all the wonderful speaking. The mic's kind of run out of juice. I should say, also hearing you guys talk so highly of educators, myself being one, it also just reminds me to care deeply for my neighbors, as there are minor frustrations of why didn't that trash get put away properly? To see the humanity in each other, but also the value is always a reminder that we need as neighbors. But like I was saying, the shared spaces are thoughtfully designed. I have big windows, nice cabinetry, new floors. We moved from a wonderful but dark and damp downstairs in-law unit a couple blocks away, actually. That met our needs, and it was priced decently. But we longed for more light and had lingering fears about how mold may be affecting us and our kids. It always kind of had a funky smell that you couldn't exactly hide. And when you came back after a long weekend, you'd be like, I hope nothing either got left out or we can just light a few candles. And it had a squeaky spot in the middle of the floor that you kind of had to dodge, especially if people were staying the night and you didn't want to wake anybody up. But even as a longtime Bay Area resident, we had toyed with the idea of following my family, who had recently moved out to the Midwest. We love San Francisco, but we were feeling a bit pulled by family and this enticing bit of cheaper cost of living in other places. But when the opportunity to live here arose, and eventually it came true, it allowed us to choose to keep building roots here in SF and our neighborhood, since we only moved a few blocks away, where my son went to preschool, and we have neighbor friends and friends from his elementary school, which I know is not everybody's experience who's moved here, and some people don't want to be right next to their school and their kids' school, but it's been a huge asset for us. We have heard from neighbors, though, and I've been able to talk with many of my neighbors that do have a similar appreciation for the beauty and thoughtfulness of this space, and the opportunity to live here. There's hopefulness around the possibility of connecting with others that have shared experiences here in education. And it feels good sometimes, at the end of the day, to look at others in the elevator when we're both tired and have a kindred sense of how this current school season and how our students are doing may be affecting us all, without even saying anything. I'm really grateful for this beautiful building and its thoughtfully designed shared spaces that allow us to live in maybe a smaller footprint, but still have access to so many amenities and feel like it's a livable space. And I'm really hopeful at the prospect, the community in this building, as well as with the neighbors who are business owners and who had to deal with the construction noise, but who are friendly and show up at this playground. And I'm just hoping that community continues to blossom here at Shirley Chisholm Village and beyond. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Eric. Thank you so much for taking the time off, for being part of this community. Congratulations for making it through. We don't make it easy in this process to be one of 1,300 and coming through. The lease up's very extensive. I want to do a quick shout out. I saw Brooke Barnhart out here. I want to do a shout out for Sam Hickey. Sam, can you wave? Sam is our community manager here. Stand up, Sam. You got to see she's color coordinated with the orange and blue. Look at Sam. All right. For helping this community come. This is the fun part. We got an awesome community of residents here, and they're starting to thrive and really engage in the neighborhood. Our final speaker, the heart and soul of this development. If I had a few sleepless nights on demand, I could have, any of them, I could have called Michelle Kim, and she would have been awake, sweating it too. She's our project manager. She did an incredible job on this. She's our final speaker. Michelle.
Wow. I don't think I've ever received that many applauses and woos before, so this is amazing. I feel like this is amazing. I can't believe we're here. I'm a senior project manager at MidPenn and part of the very strong, talented Shirley Chisholm Village project team. I feel very privileged to speak here and share what an honor it was to be one of the many individuals whose work daily, nightly, weekends, contributed to bringing this community to fruition. As I see so many familiar faces in this very large audience, it's a reminder of how important and how high impact work truly takes a village. We cannot do this by ourselves. And I would like to express gratitude to those who were bold to imagine this kind of development and make it happen. For the visionaries, thank you to MoCD and SFUSD for your clear vision and partnership. Judy Shepard Hall at MoCD, I see you. And Karen Sullivan at SFUSD, your strong, pragmatic, empathetic leadership was critical as we navigated something new for all of us. And Judy, to this day, when I think about this development, your saying during closing keeps on going on real. How we can build this bicycle and ride it at the same time. And that kept me motivated, so thank you. And thank you, Mara Blitzer, Mel Cardoza, and Sarah Tempest at MoCD for bringing your talent and commitment to this vision. For the financing, in addition to MoCD's significant and critical financing, thank you to First Citizens Bank as our construction and permanent lender, and NEF as our tax credit equity investor, for your excitement and support in this new idea and unique project. To the design and construction team, you've heard it from Eric, and it's so heartwarming to hear, Eric, that you feel the care the love and the detail that was put into the design, the thoughtfulness, the diligence in creating a safe, quality community. So thank you to Patricia Centeno and David Casey at BAR, Casey Caston, Mike Peterson at Cahill Contractors, KPFF Structural, and the Fletcher team for the play area that everyone loves. Others, Evan Gross, Linda Hicks at Govin Barchet for always being a phone call away and recalling details from 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. Thank you for being that impeccable memory. And thank you to the YMA School and Sunset Youth Services for your participation and support in the public art formation and visioning, and Sorrel for the beautiful art visible on 43rd Avenue. Lastly, I'd like to thank my colleagues at Mid-Penn. This milestone is truly a culmination of many former and current Mid-Penn team members who have navigated different financing scenarios and intangible complexities to get us here. Our Mid-Penn leadership team for your guidance at every phase of the project, and our communications team, Lynn, Ellen, Katerina, Michelle, for orchestrating today's beautiful celebration and pushing our already very high standards for marketing, just pushing it even higher for this particular development. So thank you for always being a sounding board for that. Thank you to our committed and invaluable team members in our legal, compliance, asset management, and accounting teams who embraced doubling everything. Like Matt said, there's an air right subdivision. So there's 2 parcels, but it feels like one. And that means you have 2 of everything, 2 contracts, 2 invoices, 2. So thank you for embracing that. And our incredible lease-up team and our on-site property management team, Leanne, Brooke, Juan, Elise, Tom, Sam, Jordan, and others who took the vision to serve as many SFUSD educators and employees and really implemented it. And Alex, wherever you are, this property is absolutely beautiful. And thank you again to our on-site team for supporting our residents. Oh, hey, Alex. My development teammates, Courtney, Molly, Cynthia, thank you for always being present to brainstorm, problem solve, no matter how big or small the challenge or when it happens. And lastly, thank you truly everyone who is here today. Everyone who is connected, contributed in any shape or form, truly thank you. This really takes a village. And I'm so happy that we're here to celebrate this work together. All right, so I think this is it. I've been instructed to provide some directions. For the speakers, if you could join us in the front for a front of the property by the play area for the ribbon cutting photo. And then guests who would like to go ahead and eat, there's lunch served in the Learning Center behind me. And then for others who would love to see other parts of the property, you can tour unit number 440 on the 4th floor and the common spaces like the 5th floor working lounge.
Are you guys ready? Yeah. Right here into this lens. Well, actually every lens, but here, this is first. There we go, 1, 2, and 3 right here. 1, 2, and 3. You can cut now. Let's go.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah.